let's go look at what's a good one? I thought I had chosen one. Okay, exercise 5-9.
5-9.
Mm-hmm. So if you set up a journal,
Mm-hmm.
you know, date, description,
Yep.
debit and credit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through these because it's got a sale, a purchase, and a cash discount. And you do them once through the eyes of the buyer, and then you do them once through the eyes of the seller.
Mm-hmm.
So it says Santa Fe Retailing purchased merchandise from Mesa wholesalers with credit terms of $310 net 60 and an invoice price of $24,000. So Santa Fe Retailing is the buyer.
Is the problem 5-9?
Yes, on page 199.
Okay. 1-9. Why I cannot log in here? Oh, exercise. Okay. Okay, I got it. Santa Fe. Yep.
Yeah. So Santa Fe Retailing is the buyer. Mesa Wholesalers is the seller. And the merchandise had cost Mesa $16,000 and they sold it to Santa Fe for $24,000. So the first set of entries is that you want to make an entry for Santa Fe Retailing to buy the inventory. So do that first. So it's on credit and they bought some inventory.
So it's account pay merchandise inventory. Okay, and then EP 24,000. Okay, so I put merchandise inventory debit 24,000 and AP credit 24,000.
That's correct. Okay, so then the next thing it says, make the journal entry. They are now paying that 24 grand within the discount period.
Okay. So account pay within the discount period.
Mm-hmm.
24,000 times 3%. Um, 23,280. Then so I make the account payable debited $20,280 and cash credit $23,280.
Okay, so the debit to accounts payable has got to be for the original amount. How much did you originally owe them?
24,000.
So you have to debit AP for the full 24,000.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise you're just gonna have some small amount floating out there in AP, right?
Yeah, that's where I get a little confused, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so the first thing you should think about is you've got to pull the entire AP off.
Okay.
So debit AP for 24,000, your credit to cash is correct.
Okay.
So now you're missing a credit for 720 bucks. What account does that go to?
Mm, purchase discount.
So it would go to purchase discount, but it just goes
Oh.
against the inventory, doesn't it?
Yes, inventory. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is a purchase discount, but we don't have a purchases discount account, so we just take it against inventory.
Okay.
So credit to inventory. So then if you go and look at that, if you were to do a T account for your inventory, you'd see, oh, I debited it for 24,000 and then I credited it for 720. And therefore the amount that's in inventory is the actual cost basis of my inventory, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, now the next one says, make the entry to pay cash for it after the discount period. So they didn't pay within 10 days. They paid in 30 days.
Okay.
Now what do I do?
Account payable, 24,000, and then cash 24,000.
That's it. And then of course the inventory's got a higher cost basis because I didn't take advantage of the discount, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now same transaction, but now I'm doing it from Mesa's wholesaler standpoint. And the first transaction says, prepare the entries that the seller records for the sale. So now they're selling it. What does Mesa book when they make that sale to Santa Fe?
Okay.
So take a second and write that down because that'll take a minute.
Receivable 16,000. I enter account receivable 16,000, and then merchandise inventory credit 16,000.
Okay, so now when I sell that, don't I have two transactions to book? I've got to book the sale at the sales price, which is 24 grand. And then I've got to get the inventory off my books at the 16K. So I've got two journal entries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so try again. I've got two completely separate journal entries.
Okay, account payable. Sorry, account receivable 2,000 and revenue for 24,000. And then so the first sales transaction is account receivable debit 24,000, revenue credit 24,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Then the cost 16,000. It's my merchandise inventory. No, that has to be
Right, yeah, because didn't I just take that inventory out of my warehouse and ship it to Santa Fe?
Yes, we did. So merchandise inventory, 16,000
Right, am I debiting it or crediting it? Is it going up or down?
is going down.
Right, so is that a debit or a credit?
Inventory down, that's credit.
Yes, ma'am. So what's your debit to?
Oh, did the cost,
Yeah, cost of goods sold.
cost of goods sold, okay. Cost of goods sold, debit 16,000, and then merchandise inventory 16,000. Okay. Okay.
So you have two journal entries, debit AR, credit sales.
Yeah.
Then debit COGS, credit inventory.
Mhm.
The difference between those two numbers is your gross profit,
Oh, okay.
right? Because Mesa bought it for 16, sold it for 24, therefore their gross profit's the $8,000, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so now Mesa collects the cash from Santa Fe within the 10 days. Santa Fe pays them within 10 days. What does Mesa do on their books when they get the cash within 10 days?
So cash debit 23,280, and then account receivable. Account receivable. 24,000. Cash debit $23,280, and account receivable credit 24,000.
Yep, that's totally it. And it's that same principle as with the accounts payable before, right? You've got to pull the AR off the books at the full amount.
Okay. And where does discounts go? The $720?
Well, it doesn't really go anywhere. It would just be the same thing. Like if I said, hey, I'll sell you something for $1,000, Chocho. And if you want to pay me next month, send me $1,000. If you want to pay me right now, it costs 920.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I sold you either cost you 920 bucks or $1,000, depending upon when you paid me.
Okay.
So to kind of, I mean, so where does it end up on your income statement? That's a great question. I'm trying to see. Okay, if you look on page 178.
Mm-hmm. 78. Okay.
You can see that at the top of a multi-step income statement, it's got sales, less sales discounts, less sales returns and allowances equals net sales. So from the seller's standpoint, there's actually an account called sales discount, and that's where it ends up,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
But from the standpoint of the inventory, if you're purchasing it and you have a purchase discount, if you look all the way on the bottom of page 179,
Mm-hmm.
it's just whatever number is in your merchandise inventory reflects the fact that maybe you've had some purchase discounts.
Yeah.
So purchase discount isn't an account. It just reduces your asset of inventory,
Inventory. Okay.
right? But sales
Yes.
discount is an account.
Okay.
It is part of the top of your multi-step income statement. So it's sales minus sales discounts minus sales returns and allowances gives you net sales.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you want to try any more, or do you feel pretty comfortable?
Can I just try one simple one, please?
Sure. Let's see. Let's see if I can find another one with a discount. I'm not seeing that offhand. Let's go to page 202.
202, yep.
And let's do the journal entry for July 1st. So I'm preparing journal entries to record the following transactions for Cabela's. And the first thing they did on July 1st was they purchased merchandise from Bowden Company for $6,000 under credit terms of 115 net 30.
It seems I don't see it. Is it exercise 521?
Problem 5-1.
Oh, problem 5-1, sorry.
You're fine.
Problem 5-1. Okay. Mhm. So, which one am I doing, Lisa?
Why don't you just take a couple minutes and make the journal entries for July 1st and July 2nd.
Okay. Okay, so the first entry is merchandise inventory debit 6,000 and account payable for 6,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So shipping points is where the buyer pays for it.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Okay. Then this July 2nd entry, account receivable 900 and debit account receivable 900 and revenue credit 900.
Yeah. And then what else?
Oh, yes. My merchandise inventory. The merchandise cost 500. So 500. Merchandise has cost 500. So another transaction is cost of goods sales debit 500 and
Yep.
merchandise inventory credit 500.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then go ahead and make the entry for July 3rd.
Okay. My journal entry is debit freight expenses 125, and I credited cash 125.
Okay, so this is a little interesting. So was that on inventory that you bought, that freight charge, or on inventory you sold?
It's you purchase.
Yeah, so that goes into the inventory account.
Oh.
Only when you pay freight on something you sold does it go into an expense account. Otherwise, it goes into the asset account.
Okay, so because when I buy it and I pay for shipping, it's a part of my my cost.
It's a part of your asset, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be that increase my cost of sales.
No, that increases your inventory. You haven't sold it yet. It's just increased the cost basis of your inventory that's sitting in your warehouse.
Oh, okay, so debit to 125 to my merchandise inventory and credit my cash 125.
That's it. Okay. Next one, try number 8 or July 8th.
Oh, sold merchandise there. So cash 1,700, revenue 1,700, cost of goods sales 1,300. I enter my cash debit 1,700.
Yeah.
Then I credit my revenue 1,700.
Yeah.
And my next transaction is my cost of goods sales, debit 1,300. Then my merchandise inventory credit 1,300.
That is completely correct. So now you know how to do that. You've done that 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do the next 3 and then the next 4, and then we'll call it a day. So
Okay.
Go ahead and do the 9th, and then we'll go over that one.
I debit inventory for 2,200, and then I credit account payable for 2,200.
Great. Now, the next day or on the 11th, you return $200 of that merchandise to them. What do?
That would reduce my inventory. So,
Yeah.
so I credit my inventory for 200, and then I debit my AP for 200.
That's it.
Oh.
Okay. Now on the 12th, I get the money due me from Creek Company for the invoice dated July 2nd, net of the discount. So go back and see how much they owed you.
Oh, I see.
How much do they owe you?
900.
Right, do they pay
900.
you the full 900 bucks?
No, because of the discount, it's
Yeah.
minus 2%. So I only get cash 882,
Yeah,
and then my account payable,
wait, now, do you owe money to people or do people owe you money?
Oh, sorry, account receivable. They owe me money, yes.
Yeah,
So cash debit 882, and then account receivable credit 882.
yeah. No. How much was the accounts receivable on your books at?
Oh, 900.
Right, remember, you can never leave a
Yes.
little piece of AR or AP just sitting out there.
Yeah. Then I need to put the sales discount.
Exactly.
Okay. Sales discount, $18. So my transaction is like cash debit 882, sales discount debit $18, account receivable credit 900.
Yes, ma'am. All right, last one. July 16th, I paid the balance due to Bowden Company within the discount period. So now I'm paying off something that I owe somebody else and I'm doing it within the discount period.
Oh, yeah. So it's 6,000 minus 1,000. So my entry is debit account payable 6,000. Merchandise $6. Cash credit $5,940.
Yeah, I think it's $60 is your credit to inventory.